Hello, and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And today we are discussing the life of Ozzy Osbourne. And we could not have this discussion without producer Steve here, who's a huge... Are you more of a Black Sabbath or more of an Ozzy, or are they equal to you?
Black Sabbath
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about, as everybody, if you've been living under a rock, you know that Ozzy passed away on July 22nd of this year. And, we wanted to talk about him, his life, and what he's accomplished, as well as for us, he's one of the first reality stars. The show, The Osbournes, was groundbreaking, and it came out in 2002, and it was only out for 3 years. It was filmed, it was 4 seasons, but it really did make a huge impact.
It was the first celebrity family reality show. Like, there had been The Real World and some other stuff, but this
Survivor
was
and stuff like that. Yeah.
This is the first time a celebrity family let us into their homes.
Yes.
And it remains today the most watched show, the highest rated show on MTV ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So anyway, and how being on that show, how that introduced Ozzy to other generations, and also introduced Ozzy to people that didn't follow the music at all. Suddenly everyday people, people that weren't Black Sabbath heavy metal fans knew Ozzy Osbourne and were fans of him. So, yeah. All right. So where should we start?
I was going to say there probably wouldn't be the Kardashians without Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Maybe not.
In terms of reality shows.
Well,
yeah. I mean, they opened the door for it, and because they weren't afraid to do it, because they're kind of, the whole family's kind of like, they don't give a fuck, and so they probably said, sure, why not? Whereas other celebrity families were so guarded, and but then once the Osbournes did it and they saw how successful it was, they were like, oh, well, maybe we can do that too. But I feel like the Osbournes were so much more authentic than the Kardashians or any of these other families. I mean, sure, they did goofy things to make storylines. Like, I remember one time they had a pet psychic come or something, and obviously the producers, because they had these pets that they could not potty train. They were like always shitting all over the house.
Oh my God.
And they brought in this pet psychic, which I'm sure the producers suggested, but the reactions from the Osbournes were real. They're unfiltered reactions. I mean, how can you control Ozzy Osbourne? You can't control his reactions.
You can't. And yeah, and I think that the other thing that the Osbournes did, because I remember shortly after that, isn't that when it was Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica?
Yeah.
Like, it became a formula a lot of times for people who were struggling with their career and either to start a career or to keep going. So that's really, even before the Kardashians, there were lots of these spinoffs. I think that was also MTV. So they really did. They paved the way for all of these celebrities and probably for housewives and some other things. But it's great to watch the show. I've been watching the old Osbournes, and the thing about it is it was Sharon, no makeup, Ozzy with his shirt off, Kelly and Jack, like wearing whatever, running around with all the dogs and all that. There was no glam. There was none of that. And I think that's one thing with reality TV that's really been lost, is sort of this natural, because now all we're staring at are the Kardashian faces or like Real Housewife faces. And none of it feels real.
Yeah, definitely.
Take the real out of reality there.
All right. Well, very quickly. So Ozzy Osbourne was born John Michael Osbourne on December 3rd, 1948 in Birmingham. And he's one of 6 kids, very, very poor family. He hated school. They later learned that he was dyslexic, and that was one of the reasons. There has been some talk that maybe he had ADD, ADHD, but he not diagnosed. So he ended up leaving school at 15. was kind of bebopping around, not doing much of anything. And at 17, he got convicted of robbing a clothes store. So he spent 6 weeks in prison, and that was enough for him to be like, I don't want to come back here. I hate this. And then his dad, I guess, bought him a PA, which I didn't quite know what it was. He bought him a guitar. Was it a guitar and a PA? And apparently at that time, if you're a singer and you have your own PA, you're very desirable. And he had put a sign up at some area in Birmingham, some music store in Birmingham, like Ozzy needs a band. I have my own PA. And that's how he met Tony Iommi.
Yeah. Geezer.
Isn't that an amp? Isn't a PA an amp?
Or? Yeah.
PA is like, well, it's like the microphone, and then it goes into something and speakers, and
Okay. So no guitar. So it's just the speakers and the microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. But apparently that's a big deal.
Essential, right?
Yeah.
For any band, like, we have one at our practice space, and that's what we have to, everyone has to use it. So it's important.
Okay. And so that's how he ended up in, Black Sabbath, that went through some iterations, but honestly, it didn't seem like they struggled. He didn't really struggle. I mean, he was born in 48. Black Sabbath really took off, in 69? Like, he really made it big pretty early.
Quickly.
And as everyone knows, he's had a tremendous, terrible drug problems, alcohol problems, could not control the drug and alcohol problems. Tried to, there was a famous story of him trying to kill Sharon one night and going, sitting down and telling Sharon, like, one of us has to die, and he's trying to strangle her. And he has no memory. He wakes up, he woke up the next day and was like, why am I here? Why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't able to remain sober, back and forth. And then he started his own, he sort of defied the odds, and then was able to start his own solo career that was actually, some say, bigger than Black Sabbath. And so
he got kicked. Yeah, and he got kicked out of Black Sabbath.
Yes,
because he couldn't control himself.
Yeah, because of the drinking and the drugs.
Yeah,
I guess they were all using, but they could maybe control themselves a bit more than Ozzy could. So
it was also
excess.
Yeah, it was also, as a young man was very attractive. Like I was surprised. Like, I've seen pictures of him when he was younger, but like seeing all these photos going back. Yeah, I mean, he was really, and he seemed like this really sweet guy. Like, he just could not. He was just an addict, and he could not. When he was high or drunk or whatever, he just couldn't control himself. And
no, I think he was a very shy kid. I think, he talked about how poor they were. They didn't even have a bathroom inside their house.
Yes, they had no running water.
Yeah, and so he had like 3 older sisters and 2 brothers, and it was him. And I think that he was just this sweet, shy kid that could never kind of gel in school, didn't feel like he was part of it, and really sort of lucked out by finding music. But you can see very clearly he used drugs and alcohol as a way of like having fun, but also loosening up and talking to people. And but he couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It made him crazy. Like, he became another person. So that I'm going very quickly through all of this, but that morphed into, after 1979 was Blizzard of Oz. And that was the album with Randy Rhoads. And then I guess he wanted to play Lollapalooza, and Lollapalooza was like, no, we don't want that. We don't want you, Ozzy. So Ozzy's like, well, forget it. Then I'm going to start my own thing for heavy metal called Ozzfest. And Ozzfest was known to feature heavy metal groups and people that, help them get their starts and being part of Ozzfest. And then, as we talked about, after that, the big thing was he and his family decided, let's do this little reality show. And that changed everything. I don't know how much, since the reality show has gone off the air, I don't know how much we've seen of Ozzy. I know he was still touring and performing, but this last final concert was sort of the last time I remember hearing people really talk about him that much. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, and tell us, Steve, about that final concert they just had like a month before he died. Like
No,
who?
it was like 2.5 weeks or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
who was there and who performed, and was it like an
So
all day thing?
yeah, it was, what was it called? The end, or now
It
the end
said
of the
goodbye
beginning,
tour or something.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
and
know.
it
yeah,
was set in Birmingham, which is where he's
in
from. So
Birmingham,
that and the
right?
where Black
Birmingham,
Sabbath,
England, let's be
England,
clear.
not
Yeah,
Not
Alabama.
yeah,
Alabama. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm real. First off, I'm really regretting because they put up. They said, "Oh, you can stream it for $29," and I was just thinking, "Oh, Sharon's out to get some extra money here," you know.
God, why
But
does everyone blame Sharon for everything?
well, I mean,
She's
she's the boss.
yeah.
She, but then I realized, oh, it's all they're making tons for charity. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
really regretting actually not buying the stream and not watching
Mm-hmm.
It's actually going to be in movie theaters soon. I just heard, which
Mm.
is kind of cool. Like a lot of bands played like that, have been like, influenced by Sabbath and like, or played Ozfest over the years, like bands like Tool, uh, Lamb of God, I wish I had the listing in front of me, actually. It's so many, I just can't remember right off the top of my head. But a lot of these, Slayer, I think, too. Slayer
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been back together in a while, too, but they've been playing a couple here and there, but they broke up many years ago. But Slayer, all these bands, and then like, some of these bands would also get together and do like a Sabbath tune, For example, Lamb of God played Children of the Grave and stuff like that. So, and it was like supergroups. I heard Jack Black maybe did a remote version of Mr. Crowley or
Oh, I
something like
think he was
that.
there.
Or he was
I
there.
feel
See,
like he
again,
was there. Yeah.
I wish I saw it. And I refuse to watch clips on YouTube because it's usually some dude on his iPhone. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it like that. So I still haven't even seen any of the Black Sabbath stuff, too,
Mm.
Did the
which,
members of Black Sabbath, were they there? Were
it
they?
was all them, and it
Yeah.
was Bill Ward too. And Bill Ward has not played drums with them for probably over 20 years. So Bill Ward was the original drummer. He had a lot of major alcohol problems too. So
Mm.
when they reunited, I think for the first time, and that's the time I actually saw Black Sabbath with Ozzy for the first time. I had seen Black Sabbath with Dio, and I saw them with Ian Gillan, who used to be the singer of Deep Purple. I saw them like when I was a kid, a long time ago, in their other iterations when Ozzy wasn't in the band. But I finally got to see them in San Jose when they first reunited. I think Bill Ward was playing drums with them. But then that didn't last long, so they started using other drummers. I think at one point they were using the drummer from Rage Against the Machine too.
Mm.
But uh but this was like the first time in many, many years they had Bill Ward back on drums, and it was all four of them. And they only played, I think, like four or five songs
Yeah. No,
because,
that
yeah.
that was the thing that apparently he only played, I think, 3 songs, and I don't know if they played them all the way through. So
Mm.
basically, I was just watching this thing they were talking about. As we know, Ozzy was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And I can't remember how long ago he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, but
It's probably like 3, 4
It was
years, maybe like
20
during the
28
pandemic.
2018, I
oh
think.
Oh,
wow,
okay, before that.
2018.
Oh
Okay. So
wait. Yeah. Okay.
I think he and from what I've seen and read, he basically was, in these last couple years, which again, I don't blame him, which is, I don't want to end up in a hotel room somewhere, dying. I want to be home with my kids, my grandkids, and so he's been home, but he decided to be part of this. I think he really knew that this was his last time. And I heard that he apparently stopped taking a lot of the medications that he has to take for the Parkinson's because it interferes with his memory and speech, and that he really, like, he worked very hard to get himself to this place.
Hmm.
And they raised him up. They, like, no one wanted to see him in a wheelchair, right? They did not want that at all. So they had this thing that came up from the center of the stage, and it was just him in this giant throne. And then you could see assistants behind him kind of pulling him and pushing him and putting him in the right area. And then they put a mic stand in front of him and he sang. But I really, I mean, I don't, it was like, I think really just the main. I think Crazy Train, Mom, I'm Coming Home, and I don't know what the third one
Well,
was,
then
but
they had a couple Black Sabbath songs too.
so maybe Paranoid. Well,
Yeah,
Paranoid is not,
Paranoid. Yes.
is a Black Sabbath.
Hmm.
So or War Pigs or something like that. So anyway, that was his final performance, and people really, and it was funny because you could see people in watching him, and a lot of people were crying. A lot of people were kind of like, "This is it." Like everyone felt like this was it.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I even heard someone say Ozzy like basically made his own. He played his own wake. Really,
Mm-hmm.
is what he may have calculatedly done that or not, but what a way to
What a way
to
to go
do it.
out.
Really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just
Doing
for
what you
that,
loved, and everyone's there to see it. And yeah.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I
So.
mean that's the thing about him. He was just such a lovable character. When you would see
Mm-hmm.
him on the show, he can't figure out the remote, and like he's just a dad. He's just a dad, yeah.
Yeah.
And although he did tell the BBC in an interview that he was basically stoned during that whole entire time
Mm.
when they were filming the show. But you can tell his children just adored him. His grandchildren adored him. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and even Sharon. I mean, she wouldn't have stayed with him that long and gone through all that stuff if,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't truly love and adore her. And in that documentary that you sent me that I watched, it was almost like when she was talking about that, because he in the early days, so Sharon was actually his manager, up for many from the time they
Hmm.
met.
Mm-hmm.
But her dad was his original manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of took over his management, and they fell in love and got married. And he was always cheating on her
Yeah.
because he was always drunk and just
Mm-hmm.
doing whatever. And the way she talked about it in the documentary was like she knew that wasn't him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like she kind of, I'm sure she didn't like that he was having sex with other women. I'm sure that ended a long time ago, but
Mm-hmm.
she didn't like it, but she understood that that was not him, and he
Yeah.
didn't even know what he was doing, and it was almost like she didn't take it personally or
How
something.
can you? He can't
Yeah.
remember. He
He
can't
doesn't
remember any
know.
of it. So how does it mean anything to him?
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, he really, it was, she had to, and up and down with the drugs, and it sounded like he struggled really up until the end. I mean, maybe in
With staying
these
sober.
last 5, 6, 7 years, maybe he's been sober, but it seemed like,
Mhm.
because on the show, on the show, the first season, he was supposed to be sober, and now I'm on the second season, and this is when Sharon gets diagnosed with colon cancer,
Mm.
and this is when Ozzy starts self-medicating, and they're having to
Mhm.
like have someone follow him around because he's like, I'm not happy, I'm upset about Sharon, I'm on the road, I want to drink. I either want
Mhm.
to go home and be with Sharon, I want to drink on the road.
Yeah.
And I also think that I don't think that he had, so much of the money issues, but I do think that he had to work. I think he had a big life, and I think that they needed him working to a certain extent. I don't know. But
Yeah. Well, and then Sharon had her own success,
yes.
because after the TV show, people liked her. She got her own show. She had a talk show for a while, the Sharon
Oh, that's right.
Osbourne
I
That's
forgot
show.
about
right. Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she was on, was it The View or The Talk?
The
I think it was
talk.
The Talk. She was on The Talk for a while, and I think she started like, making her own money and having a
Yeah.
lot of success because people liked her. And the same with like, Kelly and Jack to a lesser extent, but they kind of, started, people like them, they're making money. The one sister who, I think this is so interesting, the oldest child, Amy,
Mm-hmm.
between the two of them, Ozzy has two older children
Mm-hmm.
from a previous marriage I don't even
Yeah,
know their names.
it's very
I
annoying
didn't even
because
know that.
Yeah, the son Lewis, I think, is
he
in
was
a
on
couple
the show,
episodes of the Osbournes.
Onsworth.
I think
Yeah,
he mainly lives overseas,
in
right? I
England.
think
Yeah.
But there
in
were all
England.
these press things sent out where it was written by Sharon, Amy, Jack, Kelly.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, you're not even going to
Yeah,
acknowledge his two
right.
oldest. You don't have to acknowledge the ex-wife, but acknowledge his two oldest kids. So I thought that was really odd.
Yeah,
Um,
and then the daughter Amy, she refused to appear on the TV show.
mm-hmm,
And she was fairly young at the time, maybe like
18.
late teens. Yeah. And she basically said, no, I'm not going to be any part of this. And she criticized her family for doing it. And she's remained like very elusive to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently saw a video of her, since all of this stuff, since Ozzy died and all this happened. But I thought that was interesting that at such a young age, she just took such a hard line.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Well,
she was always embarrassed by her family or
well,
something. I don't know.
the one thing that I didn't realize is how close in age those three are. So they're all
Yeah.
about a year apart. So
Yeah.
when the show started, I think Kelly was, 16 going on 17. Jack was 15 going on 16. So Amy was 17 going on 18, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of, yeah, having to live. I don't know where she was. They would
Yeah.
talk about
Where did
Amy.
they put her? Yeah.
But the other thing was, and I thought the whole reason why she said no is she wanted to be a serious actress. And at that time, you don't go on a reality show if you want to be a serious actress, which is kind of the same today. But it has changed. God, Kim Kardashian's getting acting work. So
yeah, that's the thing. Meanwhile, 20 something years later, we don't even know who she is. Maybe she should have been on the show.
Well, what I always thought was interesting was that I would think that after the first year and it was so successful, I think I would have jumped on the bandwagon when she would have been like, okay, I'll move back into the house and start filming. She would have gotten some criticism for it, but at least people would know who you are. But maybe that's not what she wanted. And I think, it seems like Kelly very much wanted to be in front of the camera, and Jack, we don't see him as much because I think he's a producer, and I think he does everything behind the camera. I don't think he ever really was into, um, being a star.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I think Jack did a couple shows afterwards. So he did like a
Mm-hmm.
travel show
He's
and
done travel. Yeah, he's done quite a few things.
outdoor stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think he lives in like Idaho or something right now, or Montana or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some offshoots of that. Like after the Osbourne show ended, they
Hmm.
had a couple of like.
And he produced. I think he made that documentary.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah. So I don't know a lot of what Jack Osbourne's done that's not connected to his father or his family. So again, I don't know if he's gotten like straight jobs that have nothing to do with the family at all, or if this
Mm.
is what he's been doing. But I think this is how he's, this is his career, is producing.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that, well, we were kind of talking about this right before we started recording, just about how he permeated our culture with all different generations and types of people. He wasn't just like this heavy metal. That's how he started. And everyone, kind of knew about him because of the thing about, I always thought he bit the head off of a bat, but in that documentary it was a pigeon or something.
It was a dove. So I found, so in 1981, he bit the head off of a dove at CBS Records. And they were going to release the doves, but I guess he was high. Yeah. So he grabbed a dove and ate the head. And then in 1982, someone threw a bat on the stage.
On stage, yeah.
He said he thought it was rubber, but it was alive. So then he bit the head off of that, and the bat bit him, and he had to get rabies shots because he had rabies.
Oh. Yeah, that's always the thing that always came up when Ozzy Osbourne, the bat and everything. But yeah, like in that documentary, they show it. There's a White House Correspondents' Dinner where George W. Bush and Ozzy Osbourne's here. And like in this, after he passed away, all of these young artists were paying tribute to him. Like Lady Gaga did this tribute at the end of her LA show, and there was videos all over TikTok of people playing Crazy Train and, on, percussion and like all these different styles of whatever, young people, you know, that kind of surprised me.
I have a prop actually, because
okay,
this is
for our YouTube.
Yeah, you can't really see it, but it's an Aussie action figure, and it says complete with custom diorama and headless bats.
Wow.
So it's got up here, you can see, you can't really because the camera's sterile, but you can see little headless bats in the corner. So,
and that's significant because when Steve and I moved in together, Steve sold all of his toys. So for you to keep that toy, that made it.
It's important. Yeah, exactly.
that made it all the years.
It was part of my shrine last week, or when he passed away, I made my own little Stonehenge with Aussie records and all the stuff I own. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost funny to say that this whole thing about heavy metal, because back in the 80s, 70s, whatever, when everyone thought this was the devil's music and they're putting warnings on it. You look at it today and it's like, this is tame. Like,
Yeah.
it's so tame when you think about, rap music, and it was the precursor to just sort of modern rock, anything from the Foo Fighters to whoever. I mean, it's angst music, it's just kind of like, you want to get it out kind of music.
Well, one thing that I didn't realize was that so Black Sabbath was considered very heavy metal, and that when he went solo, that his solo work, that they sort of, it seemed like this is why he was successful, was that when he went solo, he kind of didn't stick with Black Sabbath. What he did was he did an offshoot of that. And that's what he did with Randy Rhoads. And it was very smart, because what he was doing, he was sort of like the godfather of that heavy metal hair band era, right? Which is, I think all of those bands, Quiet Riot and Motley Crue, were influenced by him, but he was still of this other level. And that's what I remember about him. Like, I knew all those hair bands and Rat and this and that. But you were like, oh, but Ozzy's different. But he to me always felt like he was the gold standard. But it was very smart of him to not try to copy Black Sabbath, but to really find his own. And he catered to what was going on at the time. Like,
right.
this is the music of the time.
Yeah, and Randy Rhoads was like, I think I read that he started Quiet Riot, and then Ozzy
he was in the
poached.
band.
Yeah,
I heard that he started Quiet Riot, and then Ozzy picked
the
him up
Quiet
from
Riot.
there. I think, yeah.
The Quiet Riot.
The
Boy,
Quiet
Steve's
Riot.
getting old.
Yeah, the
Well,
Quiet Riot. The
reality
mental health. The mental health.
reality TV connection. Kevin DuBrow, the lead singer of Quiet Riot, is the brother of Terry DuBrow.
Yes.
Of Heather and Terry DuBrow, Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes.
Wow, that is a circle I never thought would be completed there.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he died fairly young. Can't remember how he died, but yeah, he died young. And we always wonder how Terry and Heather have so much money, because you can only do so many boob jobs in a day.
Yeah.
What I always say.
It's true.
I think he inherited a lot of money from his brother, because his brother died at kind of the height of his career. I think he kind of had a lot of money. And
if they invested it smartly,
yeah.
I think what they did is they took that money and they invested it in property, and that was smart.
Yeah, that's just a theory. I have
the
no
DuBrows.
proof of it.
Yeah.
The Quiet Riot documentary actually is highly recommended. I've watched it before. And the bass player from Quiet Riot spent a number of years in Ozzy's band as well. His name was Rudy Sarzo. So,
well, can we talk about Randy Rhoads?
Yeah, let's talk about Randy Rhoads. Steve, tell us everything.
So cute. He looks
so like young. He was
so young and cute.
Sharon thought so too.
Who?
Oh, spoiler alert.
Wait.
Did she sleep with him?
Yeah, you guys didn't know that?
No.
That's what I heard.
Kind of sort of knew that. Maybe.
Yeah,
All right,
I
Steve, tell
heard
us
that
the
she had an affair. I heard that she had an affair with Randy Rhoads.
Oh, that would have killed Ozzy. That would have been that of all the things, I'm sure. Because I'm sure she remembered it.
There's a Randy Rhoads documentary, which I have not watched yet. I don't know if it's in there, but I've heard from a number of people. I mean, I don't have a fact check or anything, but I've heard that Sharon and Randy Rhoads did have a little fling.
Oh my, that's very scandalous.
That is scandalous, because she's well, I don't know. I guess I don't know how old she was at that time, because he died at 25. So they must have had the affair when he was like 23, 24 or something.
What? Yeah. I didn't understand. I knew he died in a plane crash, but why was the plane crash like right next to where they were staying? What, he was coming in on some private plane and they crashed. I didn't understand that from the documentary.
High school me would have had a lot more, because I remember, I think I remember I was like sitting in a class in high school, and it was like, Randy Rhoads just died in a plane crash, and everyone was like really just like shocked and like saddened. It was just like such a major thing, back then.
They didn't really explain in the documentary very well, but from my understanding, I think it was like the band was staying at this house that Ozzy and Sharon didn't go into the house. They were in their bus that was parked in front of the house, but farther away. And I get the sense that this private plane, I don't know if they misjudged it and they weren't supposed to land there and it just randomly it was near this house, or if there was a landing pad. It's possible that they were supposed to land next to the
Mm-hmm.
house. Again, I don't know, can you do that in these small private planes and all of that? But so, and then everyone died in the plane, right? And because something went wrong and then they crashed right into the house.
So wait, he wasn't on the plane. He was in the house that the plane hit?
No, no, no.
No,
Randy
he
was in
was
the
on the plane.
plane. I don't know who
Oh.
was in the house. Maybe whoever
Oh.
was in the house probably died, but Sharon and Ozzy survived because they never went into the house. They stayed in the
Mm.
bus. And that was the
Mm.
thing. If they had gone in the house, done. They would have been gone too.
Wow.
So,
Oh, wow, wow.
but
Yeah, and
it's
then Ozzy had this really bad ATV accident, which I
yeah.
didn't remember, but apparently he almost died.
That was during the show, during the
Oh, was
Osbournes.
it?
That
Okay.
happened towards the
That's
end.
Mm.
That was one of the things about the show, The Osbournes, which was that the show started. It was this huge success. It was huge, and then Sharon gets colon cancer.
Mhm.
And that was one of the things they talked about was like that they dealt with a lot of heavy duty stuff during the time that they were doing the
Mhm.
show. And it's funny to watch the show now because now we know that Kelly was high. Like Kelly had a
Mhm.
serious drug problem that she did not talk about. And so to see her and her dad's like, "Well, are you drinking? Are you getting high?" She's like, "No, no, no." No, no, no. Not at all. But now we know.
Yeah.
Um and she had, again, she had a pill problem before that became like before kids were stealing oxys and Vicodin from their parents. She had a serious, like, I don't know how many pills she took a day, but a serious pill problem
Mhm.
for I don't know how long, but I think she was high for a good chunk of that time that they did the
Huh.
show. But
Well, yeah, and also in the documentary they talked about before the Parkinson's, he was actually diagnosed with MS
yeah,
because he always had this kind of weird gait
yeah.
and tremors, and which I'm sure all of this was, I don't know if it was brought on by alcohol use, but it certainly was
They suggested
exacerbated
that, I
by
think,
it.
in the
Yeah,
documentary too.
Mhm.
because it's all a neurology
So
thing.
yeah, because in the show, Ozzy says I'm 52, which is how old I am. So he's when they were shooting the show, he's 52, 53. And so do you think that it was excessive alcohol use, cocaine use, drug use that got him, because at 52,
Yeah.
seeing that, oh, I'm that age, he seems a lot older, you
Oh
know.
yeah, no, he looks, yeah, and it's not because there are some young people who have MS, like Selma Blair,
Mhm.
Christina Applegate,
Mhm.
but yeah, they don't look. They still look their age. I mean, Ozzy looks like he's 70.
Mhm.
In the beginning of the Osbournes. I think he actually looked better later when he started cleaning up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
he's
that
looked
was
70 for the last 20 years,
right.
really.
Right. But yeah, and you can see in the Osbournes, it's not, I mean, his eyes are just always like wide open, like
Mhm.
he's just, I mean, yeah, you can tell like something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like slurring his words and kind of shuffling around, and that was the thing, like everyone thought it was so funny,
Mhm.
you know. And at the time, I don't really recall people talking about, well, this isn't really funny because this is happening because of, you
Oh, the
know,
alcohol.
excessive drugs, alcohol, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, it was the early aughts. It was a different time. It was a different time, but, um, well, let's talk about the Osbournes and the show because it really was this groundbreaking show, and I think that no one knew, right? I think that no one quite knew who Ozzy was until this show. Like I think you would hear him on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern would bring Sharon on. And so you would get a sense of Ozzy and Sharon and their relationship and all of that. But I think that it was a huge risk for Ozzy to do this, because if doing the reality show went wrong and bad, I mean, again, it would have been over in a year and he would have survived it. But it really was very gutsy to do it, to let cameras into your home, to really just lay it all out there, because and there was this was pre-social media. So I do think that some of this is different, because I think it would be very different today. I think there would be a lot more, I think we would feel a lot more, they would feel a lot more criticism, because I was watching the first season of the show. It's like, they've got a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old. These kids are not going to school barely. They're like, they're going to clubs.
They're total assholes to everybody.
Jack is like signed with Epic as a manager. He's got this kind of sweetheart gig, and he's going to clubs every night. And you see him going to the Roxy and this and this. He's 16. I don't think he could drive at this point. And Kelly is showing these fake IDs. So you are watching the show, and the parents are pissed because they have friends staying all the time and they're partying all night. And so they try to lay down the law with them, and the kids push back. I mean, I think that if this was happening with social media today, they would have gotten so much hate and criticism, because they were really kind of like, I don't want to say that they didn't care, but they were very much of this place of, these kids have had a very different life. They've been touring with us. We're not going to expect them to be like regular 16-year-olds, but they kept trying to enforce curfews.
Well, and remember when they hired a nanny for Jack?
Yes.
He's like 15 years old.
Yes.
And this woman is supposed to wake him up, to get him out of bed, get ready for school. And he's basically like telling her to F off.
But then you see a scene where Jack talks to Ozzy. And I thought this was really, really good, which is Ozzy was like, you can't talk to her like that. He's like, Ozzy's like, no, I don't care if you agree with her or not. I don't care any of that. You cannot speak to her like that. You cannot treat people like that. I was like, okay. Because he's a very, he's a poor kid. He's respectful. And he was like, you cannot be like that. So I do think that we see the kids today are pretty, they're together kids. They've had their struggles, but they're together kids, and they're nice kids, because I think he definitely, they had a lot of privilege, but I think that they very much, the parents were just kind of like, don't get too big here, kid, or, keep it together. And so I remember thinking like, this is some good parenting, Ozzy. Ozzy basically being like, you can't treat people like this. This isn't cool. This isn't on her. It's not her fault you're not getting enough sleep. And in like helping him like figure out, how do you regulate your emotions? So anyway.
Yeah.
But all right. What else about the show? I feel like we're missing so much.
Did you and I watch it when it first came out together? Like,
yeah,
I
we
feel
did.
like, we watched it together back when we were dating, or before.
Yeah, it was what came out in 2002, so we were dating.
Ooh.
Or engaged. No, we weren't engaged yet. We weren't engaged. It started in March of 2002, so we weren't.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch watching. Yes. Holding hands, watching the Osbournes.
Back before everyone watches TV on iPads now, in their own little,
Did you have like your old-fashioned, tube TV, or did you have a flat screen?
Yeah, it was a square TV. It was a square TV, I believe. Yeah.
TV. It was back in probably that apartment on Grove Street with the loft.
Oh yeah, perhaps.
Where Steve had all the toys up.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I met Steve, I think, or maybe the second time. You had
this podcast is about Ozzy now. Come on, not about Steve.
But you got to see. But what did you think of when you went into that bedroom? Because I guess in my mind, it didn't shock me so much. But you did have for a 33-year-old man, you had a lot of toys and a lot of collections.
Yeah, you were a collector. You had all those figurines in the box, to preserve them. But then you had shelves of like other collectible things that weren't in boxes.
Pez dispensers.
The Pez dispensers.
Here we go.
And I do remember sitting on the little couch under the bed or whatever it was.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It was a Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl party.
Yeah. It was when the Pats won the first time with Brady and And
Okay.
it was a very special night for you, Steve, because this was the Pats were in the
All
Super
right, let's
Bowl.
talk about Ozzy.
Okay.
You know,
So, yeah, so despite that, I said yes to the marriage
Yeah.
proposal.
Well, then you guys moved
Yes,
into in together, and he probably got rid of a lot of that.
you did,
hmm
and you did that completely on your own. I think
right?
people
Because I
thought I
needed
told
money. I needed
you.
money for Ozfest tickets.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, but you were ready. But this is why this Aussie thing is still in the packaging today,
yeah.
20
Yeah,
plus
and now
23 years
it's
later.
worth so much now, probably.
Well, it's not, it's a little
It's a
tattered.
little
It's
dusty,
you know,
yeah.
it's tore up
Well,
at the bottom
still.
here, but still, I've kept it. That's the one I've held on to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To see what
Um
it's worth.
so what was I going to say? So I think have we talked I want to because I feel like there's more that we need to discuss when it comes to the show The Osbournes.
Well,
Because
it
it really
wasn't on
was
that long. It was only on
no.
for 3 years,
It was 4 seasons. Originally, they were
but it was
supposed to
2.
only do it for a few weeks, and then it turned into this whole thing. And I think the other thing that happened was that in typical sort of reality television fashion, they did a bunch of episodes. It was such a hit that the second season was like double the order. So I think what
Mhm.
happened was that
Mm,
like the minute the show aired, they were like filming these people right away and like cranking out content. So I think it was very very intense for them for a very, for the short amount of time. But it was, I mean, it truly, it really was, like we said, the first celebrity TV reality show. So it was so significant. It felt like it was this big thing that lasted decades.
Yeah.
where are you finding it? You said you've been watching
YouTube.
all the
You can watch
YouTube
all
again.
the
Okay,
episodes on YouTube,
I
no
might have to. I
commercials.
might have
I'm
to go
quite
back to it.
enjoying it.
hmm
Little did people know that Ozzy is comedy gold. I mean, truly comedy gold, and didn't mean to.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then there's these through lines of the show where he cannot figure out how to work the TV, that he hates, he's mad at the animals. There's this great scene in the first season where Jack has this English bulldog that keeps pooping on the floor and cannot keep it together. They hired a woman to come over, a dog trainer, to come over to help them with the dog. So much. So finally, Sharon's like, "You are not taking care of this dog. This dog's a nightmare. I'm giving the dog away." And so Ozzy, so she gives the dog away. Ozzy intervenes and says to Jack, "Listen, I know you want this dog. We will give you the dog back, but you have to, watch this dog and really take care of him." And Jack's like, "Yes, yes, yes." So Jack, and then there's this whole thing where they show him playing with the dog and they're together. And then the dog gets out of the pool. He walks around the side and all of a sudden he goes, "Bleh," and he pukes up all of this vomit all over the place. And you're just like,
Uh,
"Oh my God. Oh, this isn't good." Like the dog was back in the house
for
for
1
like a
hour.
couple hours.
Yeah.
And whatever he ate, he threw it all up. So,
Oh boy.
but I think that Ozzy loved English bulldogs, and I think that was one of the reasons why. But they had
Well,
so many animals; it was
the
too
thing
many
that
animals.
you mentioned about him, being funny, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like the thing like post death that I've seen from a couple of his bandmates from Black Sabbath. They basically said he's like lovable and he made them laugh all the time, and that's it. And that's anyone who's met him says that about him. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, there's none of this evil stuff. He's like, they said he's just lovable and he liked to just make people laugh, and he had a great sense of humor, and that's a through line I learned.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't
Mhm.
know that.
I think a lot of this Prince of Darkness stuff, like all of this, to me has always felt like this was part of this act. Like it's
Mhm.
almost this feeling of he likes to wear black clothes with crosses on them. He likes to have his hair long. He like
hmm
it's almost like he had this style that was attributed to being evil, but that's really what wasn't what he was about.
No,
I think it was like an aesthetic that
Yeah,
he
I mean,
enjoyed.
all the bands had it. I mean, like Motley Crue, their symbol was like that Satan symbol, or you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like those guys are, they're not like Satan worshippers.
I mean, I
They're not.
think, yeah, Black Sabbath is. I think that the name is from like an Italian horror movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's where they took it from.
Yeah.
But
Well, that was the era where, well, I mean, part of it would maybe people did it on purpose to get attention, like it stood out. It contrasted it with other types of music, but also like, yeah, during that time, was all this censorship going on with Tipper Gore and all
oh
that.
yeah.
And it was almost like the bands just made the bands even more like, fuck you, we're gonna
Yeah.
like do this now. Like,
Yeah.
see how you like this,
Mhm.
Well, that's how it was. Remember Two Live Crew?
Oh yeah.
I remember mom got the album, the Two Live Crew album, because she wanted to know what the fuss was all about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, I think she borrowed it from someone. I doubt
Oh,
she purchased it, but that was what they did, was they made it so much more appealing to people
Right. But
by,
remember, was it Ice-T, the cop killer
yeah,
song?
187.
Oh God, that was
Oh.
consumed a whole summer one year about, the song. Oh my God, we're all going to hell. I mean, music was really, really weaponized back
Mhm.
then, like in a way that I don't really see that much today, but I don't know, maybe it's still happening. I don't even know. I mean, this kind of music, you would know this, Steve, more than me, but I kind of feel like this genre of music is almost dead, you know?
Metal?
you mean metal?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I don't
it's
I don't
just
think
Brooke, how
different.
dare
I,
you?
I'm
No,
not I'm not going to the right places, I know, but I mean it's not part, let's put it this way. It is not part of mainstream, you know. I don't know. I mean,
well, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, you'd see that concert that happened a few weeks ago. All those bands that played are still relevant. Tool, Slayer,
mhm, yeah.
um,
But those
Lamb of
were
God,
all
they're
formed a
huge.
long time ago.
Yeah, it's true. But again, I can also cite a number of bands that when you hear a guitar riff, you're like, oh yeah, that was inspired by Tony Iommi. And that's going back to
Mhm.
1970. And,
Mhm.
again, people say they invented heavy metal, but,
And do
it's
you agree with
almost
that,
kind
that they did?
to a point, yeah. I mean, there's other bands from that 70s time, but and I also heard that they were called Earth and they were a blues band before Black Sabbath, which
Mhm.
I also read they're going to be releasing some of that stuff soon. So I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, and, when they came out, it was like, but even now to date, there are bands coming out, and you hear like the guitar work, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of like Black Sabbath-y kind of riffs. It's like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
well, the whole world of what they call stoner rock now is like kind of inspired by like those Sabbathy riffs and stuff like that. So that genre is still going strong as
Hmm.
well. Yeah,
But there aren't, I mean, and maybe it's just where we're looking. Maybe it's because we're old and we're not
there's
up
Yeah, we're
on
just
new
we're we're
music
so
going to
so
many.
much.
Sirius
Yeah.
XM to find our,
Well, there's
but
so
even
many more sub-genres within metal
yeah.
now. It used to be just metal. It had Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Motley Crue, Black Sabbath,
Mhm.
all those bands. But now it's like, you have, you know, black metal and this, that, and so many different kinds of metal and genres within it all now, and some of it leans more on rock, some of it leans more on satanic stuff, and like all this weird,
Mhm.
screaming stuff, and then it also starts to spill into like punk rock and emo and stuff like that too, in a way, sometimes.
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, so there's still in my mind, there's still a lot. I think it's still a big thing. When I go to shows, it's like, yeah, metal is still strong.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah,
going to
Brooke.
shows in like
Metal is
small.
still strong.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, but but you're going to shows in, smaller venues and like
Yeah,
local things. I'm talking about like on a big, um, you know, uh, what's the word
Well,
I'm looking
there
for? Big
isn't
hmm
anyone
scale.
that's coming out today like, trying to think, like, who's a new artist, like Jelly Roll or someone like that. Like there's nobody that's coming out today that's, oh, Jelly Roll, I just heard
That's
about
metal. Yeah.
that's
hmm
metal. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I could maybe think of a couple, but not off the top of my head right now. But yeah, you're right. A lot of them are like Tool, for example. They were established a long time ago.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
mentioned Slayer. Like even
Yeah.
they said that Ozfest helped Queen of the Stone Age. Queens or Queen? Queen of the Stone Age? Remember that
Queens of the
band?
Stone Age. Yeah.
I mean, that was late 90s, early aughts. And that was a long time ago. But you know, so you don't hear about these kinds of bands
I
so
don't
much
remember them
anymore.
being associated with Ozfest, but I
I
did
just read that.
remember. I did try to figure out when did I go to Ozfest. I think it was 2004. I went to Ozfest, and it was like Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Slipknot. I remember seeing that band Slipknot on the side stage and stuff like
Mm.
that. And it was trying to remember. I'm like, did I see all these bands? Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
spent a
mean, but
whole day
those,
there.
yeah, those are old. I mean, those are all
Yeah.
bands
Hmm.
established in the 80s or 70s. I mean,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'll have to get
you
back
know,
to you on that. But
yeah. I mean, I would love. That's the thing when I go on, you know, Sirius XM, and I listen to all the metal channels, and it's all just old stuff. Like I'm not
Yeah.
mhm.
hearing anything new at all. And I
Yeah.
love it. You know, I love, you know, I'll listen to that all day, every day. But it's like, is there new stuff? I mean, I don't even know. I
Yeah.
so
Well, and you know, Ozzy, I mean, it wasn't, he went solo in 1979. MTV came out in 1982 or
eight-
83?
82
82
or
or
84. No,
83?
82 because we were still living on Ridge Road. Do you remember that
Hmm.
summer?
Yes, I remember going to that Deerwood, Deer, whatever, country club.
Deerwood Country Club, yeah.
Yes, in the summer, like that's what we did. And they would have, I mean, this is again, we were so feral. Our parents just, I think, dropped us off there. Like, and
Probably.
you're there the whole day. I
Do
mean,
you
I'm
listen
just
to
looking back
Ozzy?
on that. No, but they had a TV. They had a TV.
Yeah.
I remember they had a TV and they played MTV.
But I
That's what I
remember
remember.
so do you remember, okay, so we had neighbors on both sides of us that had like same age kids.
Hmm.
I think we're the only ones who had cable, you
Oh,
know.
really? Oh.
Yes. So do you remember Robin and Tracy would come
Hmm.
over, and then the girl on the other side, blanking on her name, she was a couple years older than us, and she would come over because that was when mom was working,
Hmm.
and she would come over and quote unquote babysit us or just sort of
Oh.
watch, not because you were still kind of
Yeah,
youngish,
in
you know.
1982, I was 8. No,
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, so like you and Robin were the same age. So, but we literally just watched MTV all day, every day that summer. And it was the
Mm.
I did
same
too.
20, it was the same 20 videos
Yeah.
that just played over and over and over again. And, you know, then all of a sudden they'd introduce a new video. And
Hmm.
it was, I mean, that was so exciting.
Yeah. I mean, and so that was the other part of it too, is I think when I think about MTV and early MTV, I always associate it with this, like this this metal, the Quiet Riot and Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and all of those bands. To me,
Mm-hmm.
they were such a big part of that beginning of MTV. And in the beginning, right, it really, yeah, they just put everything together. Do you know what I mean? The 20 top hits were the 20 hits that people liked. Like it wasn't,
Right.
um, there weren't so many options or channels. So it was, you know, these are your 20 top. But I do remember when Thriller
Mm-hmm.
came out and it was an
So that was
extended
80,
video.
was that 84?
83, 84. And
Or
that was a
yeah.
big deal.
But what
That was a
Yeah.
really
about,
big deal.
Bark at the Moon, where Ozzy was like turning into a werewolf?
Yeah, I
Remember that?
Yes,
remember that
yes,
video.
yes.
I
That's why,
remember
see,
that video.
I remember, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't I don't remember ever sitting down and listening to Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath as a kid, but I have all these memories of
Hmm.
MTV, seeing him there,
Mhm.
knowing
Yeah.
the backstory, you know,
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
having this sort of perception. And then fast forward to 2002, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's watch him again. And then there's this whole new person that you're meeting.
Right, and so
Um,
at that time, you know, I'm like going into junior high or already in junior high, I don't even know. But every guy in my junior high wore the black shirts, just like Steve's wearing here today, you know, with the Ozzy, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, you know, whatever. And you know, I was introduced to metal because I had my high school boyfriend and my college boyfriend were both into metal, and you know, wore the black t-shirts and all of that. And my college boyfriend, um we went to concerts like every weekend in LA, and I have seen all of these people
You've
because
seen the Motorhead, the
I
Judas
saw the
Priest.
Motorhead, Lemmy. I've seen all of them. I mean, because yeah, they were just constantly coming through, like we were talking about, to the amphitheater, Irvine Amphitheater. Went to Irvine Amphitheater all the time, Santa Monica Civic Center. Just constant concerts, and that's back when it only cost like $20 to go to a
Yeah.
concert. And it was easy to get tickets, and you just kind of went. You go at the last minute. I remember seeing like Rat and all these in smaller venues, and it was really fun. And I didn't like every single band and every single song, but it was just fun. It was like one of those things where the energy of the crowd was just fun. It was like because that's what's fun about metal, is that you can just really just get all your aggression out and just rock out. And
Right. No one's holding phones up going, oh.
no. I mean, well, now they probably do, but
Brooke and I have already
That's,
complained about
I
this
know, I know. I'm
incessantly.
just, those were the
yeah.
days, my friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was, yeah, we sound like a bunch of old Bettys, but it's like that was just a different time.
But
But yeah,
be here now. We were there. We were being present.
right.
I mean, I think that is, as much as I enjoy the TikTok and seeing all these concerts, at the same time, I really do feel like you're not be here now. Like you're not enjoying your life. Like stop. Put the phone. A picture or two is fine, but like these people, the whole time they're holding their phone up the entire concert. Like, what are you going to do with this?
Who are you going to show this to? Are you ever going to watch this again? No.
Right.
Nobody
And
gives a shit.
that's why I don't want to watch any of that footage from the last concert that took place a few weeks ago, because it's some, jabroni with like, hey, look at me.
Yeah. And what's really sad now? Instead of people holding up lighters during the slow songs, they hold up their fucking phone and put their flashlight on. And that is just, that's garbage. I mean, I hate that.
Yeah,
but no
bring
one
lighters
smokes
back.
anymore.
Let's
I know.
Well, but everybody had lighters because people were either
smoked.
smoking cigarettes or smoking weed. And
whoops,
the world that we live in, I went away there. The world that we live in now, it's like no one has lighters.
The shame. Let's bring lighters back. Let's set up a stand at the next big concert and say, put your phone here, you get a free lighter.
We could start this movement of put the phone down movement. Put your phone down. Put your
pick
phone
up
away.
the Bic. Right.
Put down the
put down the phone.
iPhone.
Pick up a Bic.
Pick up the Bic. Okay. Sounds good. And get your heavy metal t-shirts. Is this what you wore to high school, Steve?
What? No, I got
I
this
know not that
for work.
shirt specifically, but I mean,
is that how you dressed?
Yes.
Were you,
yeah.
Junior high and high school, were you like wearing the black rock?
I was. I was kind of the metalhead, sat with all the other, kind of rejects who were also in the metal at the corner table in high school. We were the cool people. We played in Battle of the Bands and stuff like that.
You called yourself a reject.
Yes,
are you a reject or a cool guy?
Both. I mean, because we weren't, there was like the jocks and stuff like that. We weren't them. We were in the corner. We just talked about Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And this time, like, I mean, there was when I started playing guitar, like in high school before, there was a time where I had a Black Sabbath songbook, and I learned how to play almost every Black Sabbath song on guitar. And it was just like that. That was like an important part of my youth was Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff. It's just like huge. But yeah, I did wear black t-shirts and concert shirts when, there were rules though. I think there's still rules. You don't wear a concert shirt to the band you're seeing that day. I mean, people did, I don't think that's cool.
It's just dorky.
It's super goofy. Yeah, it's like when we would go on those cruises and we'd stop at a port.
Right.
Do you remember that? We'd stop at a port like Curacao, and then everyone would come back on the ship and
Curacao
shirt. Like
and they sold them on the ship for like $5. You could get a Curacao shirt.
No, but I remember
like you come back from port, the first thing you do is strip down and put on the outfit. Sorry.
I remember going to a show though, and my friend who is a huge, and I had to actually send him a condolence message last week when Ozzy died, because he's still like the biggest Black Sabbath fan ever. But I remember going to his show. It might have been a Black Sabbath show, and he went and he bought T-shirts off of people's backs. He's like, I don't have that one. I don't have that
Oh
one. He
wow.
came home with like 14 shirts that were all different Black Sabbath shirts. And he was just like the biggest. I mean, so.
Well, let me ask you this, Steve. Did
Mhm.
you ever walk around with like a boom box?
No,
In your high school?
no. I never had that say anything moment. No. Or
No.
No, or
just
like
walked around.
Radio
No, I never walked
Raheem.
around with a boombox either.
I
I think,
remember when I was in junior high, not so much in high school, but it was a thing where the guys with the metal shirts
Mm-hmm.
would have like a boom
mm,
box and they'd walk around during lunch or break or whatever,
playing
playing their heavy
Twisted
metal
Sister.
music
Yeah.
Oh God,
or
Twisted
whatever
Sister.
was, yeah, whatever was hip at the time.
Mm.
And in fact, that's what my boyfriend was, one of these people. And when he walked by me one day and he like looked at me and he took his boombox like kind of off his shoulder and he sort of pointed it at me. And I was
Ooh.
like, oh my God, I've got to be with him.
Wow. And that about wraps it up.
Power of
Wow,
metal.
Brooke.
I know. But that's crazy. Like this,
You don't
to
remember
me,
what song he just pointed at you. He didn't play a song, or
no, it was already playing.
oh,
Like
okay.
But what was
he
the
was
song?
I don't
Was it "We're Not
remember.
Gonna Take It" by Twisted Sister?
No, I think it was heavier than that. It was like it was like Iron Maiden or Judas Priest.
Okay.
Those were like his
Mm-hmm.
favorites. Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
Hell
yeah.
Bent for Leather. Must have been Hell Bent for
Oh
Leather.
yeah.
And I remember Judas Priest being seen as such heavy metal. And now you see them and they seem really tame. Like
Yeah.
everything, it seems really, really tame in comparison to, I don't know. And it's not that songs are so outrageous today, but
Right.
it's just the how upset people got.
Well,
Yeah, well, and the funny thing about Hellbent for Leather is,
yeah,
the
Rob
lead singer
Halford is.
Rob Halford, he came, well, at that time you could not come out as
Hmm.
gay, or that would be a career-ending thing.
Yeah.
Um, he later came out as being gay, but yeah, you looked at him and you're like, I think he might be gay because he's talking about Hellbent for Leather and he's all dressed in this like, you
Hmm.
Hmm.
leather
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah,
Yes.
a classic
Um,
song.
Homework for everybody out in
Oh,
the
okay.
podcast land. Look up the video called "Heavy Metal Parking Lot." It's about it's a Judas Priest. It's like 15, 20 minutes. Judas Priest parking lot back in the day, in the era we're talking about. It's
Mm-hmm.
just you're just like, man, these kids. It's great. It's just so it's just a
Is it
staple
people
in
in a parking lot listening to the
yes,
music?
it's a
Yeah.
staple in
Okay.
time. It really is. It's just a slice of life. I forget
Yeah.
where it was, but it's just such a brilliant 12-minute
Yeah.
video.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah. Life was simpler then.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
anything left to say about the Osbournes, about Ozzy, about any of
Uh,
it?
I'll say something that Ozzy used to do every time he was on stage, and it was my favorite thing to watch when he was just clapping and like, "Let me see those fucking hands." I just love that. I love that
Yeah.
about him. He was
Well,
just
what
like,
I've noticed from the TV show is he really does love pulling his pants down and like mooning people.
"Oh,
He does that a
I didn't
lot.
remember that."
Oh, he does it on stage. He
Hmm.
At one point, I think all the whole family's out and they've got this house in Malibu and Ozzy wants to build a fire on the beach. And then he finally he has to get someone to help him. Like like firefighters came out and helped him build this fire on the beach. But then he was like, "Oh, I want to warm my butt," and he just like pulled his pants down. It's one of his favorite things.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, I kind of do
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Well,
I'll
Well,
call him.
R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne.
R.I.P.
Yes.
Ozzy. It has been a rough week
We love
for
you.
us Gen Xers. You were such a big part of our lives at various stages of our
Yeah.
lives.
Hmm.
We feel like we've been a part of it. So
Felt like we know him.
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, highly if you've not watched the Osbournes, highly recommend. It really is a good show. And
Or
they
that
are really
documentary,
funny.
right? What was that called? Nine Lives of Ozzy Osbourne, that documentary.
Yes.
They are making a new one, I heard, that's coming out relatively soon as well. Another
Mhm.
documentary about it. So,
Yeah, the 9 lives of Ozzy. It's really interesting because it really goes through all of these like he has had a life, and I think that there are, he's had his struggles, but he has been really, really blessed. He was blessed very early on to make it. The fact that he was able to transition from Black Sabbath, he could have really, everything could have been done from Black Sabbath to this, to meeting Sharon, to Sharon not pressing charges when after he strangled her, all of these things. It's I think he's obviously 76, feels young, but I think it's so much more than what he ever thought.
He owes a lot to Sharon.
Yes, he does.
Because I don't think I know that on his own, and that's part of the blessing, is that he met her and she made all this happen, because he probably would have died a long time ago.
Probably.
If it weren't for her.
Well, and I think and that's why I feel bad that she gets so much hate from people. She's sort of seen as the bad guy, but it's well, she's the manager. The artist doesn't want to be the bad guy. That's why they're the artist.
Right.
That's not their job. So
She's
I always felt
like alive.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like Sharon was just, Sharon's a tough cookie, but she was just trying to protect him, trying to do what she felt was right. And I know she's had some, I remember, what is it? Is it the Insane Clown Posse that had some issue with her? We would hear them on Stern all the time fighting back and forth. Yeah. But she always, I felt got a lot of hate for just doing her job, which is to keep him going, keep him alive, keep him, and it was always kind of oh, you're making him work. It's a little bit no, well, she's working too. They're all working, it doesn't work like that. And Sharon obviously has had, I think she's the one that's been earning the money for the last 20 years, right? I mean, I haven't seen Ozzy on stage. Sharon's the one that works nonstop.
You actually, at the beginning of this, you asked what has he been doing in the past? But he's done a lot, his last record, I think, he just put out a record maybe 2 years ago. It had Post Malone and Elton John on there and stuff like that. It was and I think it may have actually won a Grammy too, or was close. And so that was pretty big.
Yeah, sorry. He must get a lot of residuals. Hopefully they make good deals. I mean, his music is out there. He's got a big catalog, and
also
now they're going to make a bunch of money.
Yes. Well, the other thing too is, don't forget that song, forgotten the name of the artist, Get Low. Who am I thinking of? Get Low. Little John. That song, they sampled Crazy Train. So they use that, there's been a lot of, he's also in all of this new music, he's sampled a lot.
Yeah.
From Crazy Train being a very, popular one to do. But it's funny because you're watching Ozzy listen to Little John use the sample, and he's kind of trying to process it all. Okay, oh, all right.
Yeah. There's also I saw a couple of years ago, even in our own little area here, this all-female Black Sabbath tribute band called Black Sabbath.
Oh, I feel like I've seen that.
They're great. So we'll have to make you both go if they come through again. But
yeah.
So
well,
got to get back in the metal. Yeah, I got to get back in the metal scene.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Steve. Here.
Thanks for having me.
Talk about.
Thank you,
Ozzy Osbourne.
Light my Ozzy candle now.
Yeah. Well, the someone who had watched the Billy Joel documentary was raving about the Billy Joel documentary. Apparently, it's great.
I do want to watch that.
So maybe if we do that, you can come. Do you like Billy Joel, Steve?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I like a couple songs.
Okay, then never mind. You're not coming back for that.
Yeah. No, I'll just listen to it.
I also wanted
I'll watch it. I want to watch it.
I mean, Billy Joel's got quite a catalog, but also,
and he's got quite a life story. Apparently,
he does.
Good crapola. Yeah,
yeah. He's done a lot of drugs, and drinking, but and also the Sound City. I want to do the Sound City.
Oh, that's an oldie. Yeah.
Especially now that Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks are re-releasing their.
So that might be a better one.
That was a really good documentary. Actually,
that's a very good documentary. It's very, very good. So,
all right, things coming soon, people.
Yeah, maybe this will be a summertime music fest theme for August,
Okay.
Hey. So one of the things that we were going to do was we were going to start we were going to start talking about Patreon in the beginning of the episode. And yet again, in true fashion, we forgot.
We
have these meetings. We discuss what we're going to do. We say, yes, let's do that. Then we start the show and forget about all of it. That's why we forget to take pictures.
What is wrong with us?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I get so fixated on the topic. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, and I don't stop and think about, I just want to dive in. So anyway, but thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy our show and you enjoy us, please check out our Patreon. We just, you get all the shows ad free, plus you get a weekly bonus. Yesterday's show is our weekly bonus where we talked about our mother and how she's driving us nuts. And we talked about Trump in Scotland. We talked about what else? Menendez.
We talked about Kris Jenner and
Oprah
and Gayle.
Were you going to drop a preview of it in
bunch of random
in the
stuff.
regular feed?
We talked about doing that, and also
you need to
we record. We recorded a good.
What I'm doing is I'm teasing it.
Yes. Right, thank you.
Yeah. So look for that. Also, we wanted to do. We'll probably release a little teaser of our for our top tier Patreon people. We do a monthly true crime bonus, and we just recorded. It's out. It's already out. It's Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, past and present, everything.
Yes.
Which is very juicy. So, we hit, there's some good content there. So if you like these episodes, go and check it out, and we will put a couple of previews on the free feed so people can get an idea, get a taste of it.
Yes. But, just a little taste.
Yeah.
And other ways to support us is please give us a rating and review. Those help us. Please follow the podcast, subscribe, follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hello, everybody. I think that's it. Thank you so much, Steve, for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.